Today, in the US government and democracies around the world, people feel like their vote doesn't matter. Why are we always forced to choose the lesser of two evils? In this video, I will discuss the modern day problems for voters, propose a solution, and explain how the solution addresses the problems. Alright, first, the problems. There are a lot of different problems that affect the power of votes. I'll cover these three. The Electoral College is a terrible system. It was designed in a world where news traveled on horseback and took weeks to get from one state to another. The Electoral College was the way, at the time, that each state could roughly demonstrate their people's opinions. Any argument for it is outdated. There is no reason it shouldn't just be a popular vote. Issue bundling, essentially the two-party system. Single-issue voters are forced to accept an amalgamation of unrelated stances on separate issues. The likelihood that any viable party that holds your exact values exists is zero. Unfortunately, because of how plurality voting works, everyone is incentivized to vote for the most popular candidate that represents your beliefs more than the others. Today, representatives are not instruments of the people, nor do they share the people's desire. Their goal is to get elected again, and to do so, pander to their own voter base. The people have no direct influence on the law. The people that decide what the people want are those that won popularity contests. Do you think the prom king and queen should run the school? Now, how do we fix this? These problems aren't the result of evil or stupidity, but the natural consequences of the voting system. People follow incentives. The solution is to incentivize honest voting, not with bribes and promises, but with simple mathematical facts. A system where misrepresenting your vote to a more or less extreme does nothing else but betray your own interest. The solution must decompose votes into single issues, give people the ability to choose their exact stance, and aggregate into an accurate representation of majority opinion. This results in a system I call the preference survey system. For every relevant issue, there is a continuous line, which contains two opposite extremes and a clear midpoint. It needs to be continuous and cumulative. Every point contains the sum of the neutral midpoint to your position. Then, the aggregate will simply be the median voter. Starting from the midpoint, which has implicit 100% approval, move along the side with more votes until you reach the median. By definition, the median has majority approval. If you need a supermajority, do the same thing, but stop at 66%. In fact, for every position, you can find its percentage of support. With this system, every outcome is clear and has majority support. The system does not replace elections, however. Instead, it takes the political will from the representatives and gives it to the people. Representatives are still valuable for finding the most efficient solution, but it is always based on public desire. Now, you might have some objections. I'll go through some of the arguments against it. First, low information voters will lead to bad policy. Each issue is decomposed into its smallest part. A voter whose only information is their own lived experience has enough information to form an educated opinion on what's best for them. If there is a topic they have no idea about or no care for, they can simply abstain from that question. Additionally, this is not a direct democracy. There are still skilled representatives that will carry out and operate the law. 2. What if a politically motivated organization convinces voters to move one way, or a media environment that systematically misleads people? If that does happen, it will only change the election as far as public opinion has actually shifted. You cannot do something without majority approval, and because of the simplicity and clearness of the questions being asked, people cannot be misled out of their own opinion. They can only be convinced. 3. Laws based only on the current whims of the population will mean permanent instability. First, the laws being passed aren't any different than ones today. Only the source of motivation has changed. Second, does the world feel stable to you? Static institutions that build pressure until they explode have much more catastrophic variation. Third, the implementation of this system will quickly reach an equilibrium. Split votes mean the median becomes neutral. And if the world changes from geopolitical shift or technological advancement, then the equilibrium will shift too. If you have any thoughts or questions, leave a comment. I look forward to further discussion. And if you want to know more, I wrote about this and a complementary topic on Substack, which I will leave a link to in the description. Thank you for watching.